Good morning. No, come on. No, let me see. I've got myself two new things. I've got a little button to start recording the camera. I've also got a new haircut. Can you see my bald spot? Oh, that's good. Right, today we're removing the door panel to change the speakers. But first, we need to go and get the correct tools for removing the mirror and the door handle. Right, we're going to play a little game of guess the screwdriver. Now, to remove the mirrors, you need an 8mm socket. But what size Torx screwdriver do you think we need? Do you think we need a T40, a T30, a T25, a T20, T15, or a T10? Make your guess now. If you thought it was T20, then you are correct. Right, you're not really going to be able to see shit, but you have to take my word for it. But because of the angle, you've got to get in behind here to get that screw out. I've decided to go for the little right angle one. This one is by Facom. It's a Torx 20 by Facom. Tiny, do not lose. Now, where am I going to lose that to? I do. Lift, unclip, so don't clip, Now this wiring connector is for the speakers, like the Twitter speakers, if you fancy fitting those. And now we need some tiny little 8mm maybe, something like that. Or you can probably use, yeah, Torx 20 still. That saves me a 6-foot walk. Let's get rid of this. Now, step 0. Do not drop any of these bolts. Pain in the tits. They're just screws. If you've got electric mirrors, you're going to have all the wiring shit in the way. Another screw. Now there's a hidden one right in the back here. Bear in mind, of course, that as soon as you take this screw out, that mirror might fall off. So as long as you don't disconnect that, it's not going to fall on the floor. Another screw. And there's a little clip just at the top there. There's a son of a bitch. Disconnect, remove. Refit the seal nicely. Now we have to move on to the door handle. Now, for years and years, every time I bought a Torx set, I'd always throw out the 27s, the T27s, because you never use them anywhere. I think they're used on Harley Davidsons, and that's pretty much it. So, but every time you go for a Torx 20 or 25 or 30, you'd always pull out a Torx 27. So I've binned them all. So guess what size you need to remove the door handle screw? Yeah, Torx 27. It's good if I didn't throw them all out, wouldn't it? Lucky enough, I kept my fuck 'em. So remove that one. Now you have to pull out this little rubber Johnny thing out. Little hat. And in that, what flavours it going to be? Yeah, Torx 27 as well. You only have to turn it until you can see the head of the bolt. Then you pull the handle backwards, and we are clear. You don't have to disconnect any of that. You can just sort of keep it all out of the way. It's not really going to affect the removal of the door panel. Now there's a small bolt on the front of the top of the door panel. Torx 25. Because clearly you need all of the Torxes to do this. Now not only is there a little bolt, there's also a little pork pie hat washer. Don't lose these. That is the only thing that stops this panel from sliding backwards and forwards. So don't forget to put that back, otherwise you might know about it as you're driving down the motorway. Do yourself a favour, although it won't feel like a favour when you have to put this fucking thing back on again. Take this the screen seal off. Now this gives you a bit more view as to what's going on down the back here. There's a rail that runs across the top here with keyhole slots in it. Now the panel has got little hooks that go into the slots. You have to pull the door panel forwards to pull them out the slots into the wider area, so you actually pull the panel off. We hope. Now ideally, you'll need the front panels off, the wing panel, in order to have enough room to slide this forwards. Now once you've removed that, there's also a little bracket down here that holds the wing panel in place, and that's sitting right in the way as well, so you'll have to remove that. That's a 10mm, so we'll do that. Right, this is what we've removed. The panel sits in there, just clips in place, just stops it rattling as you drive. Obviously a standard bolt. Right, I've lowered the window just so it makes it a bit easier to see. Hopefully it doesn't start flipping the video. There's a clip there. You see there's a little shallow indent just there. There's another one there, you can't really see shit. There's another one there. And what you have to do is just slide your door panel forwards and then wrestle it for a bit. Let me just stick it down the tripod and we'll have a little look. Right, so we've pulled it forwards. Now this is moved all the clips forwards in the top rail, so then you can actually pull the top of the door panel out from the top rail. And once that's happened, you can then pull the door panel back and then pull that side down and that side off. Simple as that. Getting it back on is not simple, but we'll get to that in a minute. So here we have door, glass in the way. Step 2. I'm going to skip a few steps. put the glass back up again. Otherwise it's going to be well in the way. Right, this is the weather shield. Actually fairly thick and looks like it's been updated since the old models. The old models used to be like a black, but this is a nice silver. Feels a lot thicker. Now the speaker is around this area. So what you have to do is move the weather shield out of the way, trying to damage it as least as humanly possible. Which isn't actually that easy. So let's give it a little go. Okay, it's tighter than a nun's bumhole around here. No, I can't say that. It's tighter than a duck's bumhole around here. So you get yourself a T30 and remove that bolt. This allows the window regulator bars to be pulled out to give you a bit more room behind it. So let's get on that. Now make sure the car is turned off and the key's out of the ignition, because that is the side airbags. If you accidentally hit that while the car's on, you're probably shitting your pants. Okay, so that's moved out of the way. This can now flex. Not a great deal, but just enough. Now if you can disconnect the window motor, then you're better than I am. This silver stuff is a lot thicker than the old black stuff they used to use on the earlier 453s. Right, there you go, there is the speaker. And I imagine, oh, you absolute turd. Just as I expected. Torque's 20. There are 3, one there, one hidden around there that you have to sort of get in around the back. And once you've got that, you should be able to pull the speaker out. Hopefully, clip you up there. Try not to drop these down inside the door panel. Well, it doesn't look like you can really lose much in there. You can. And you think, oh, it's all right. I'll put something else in there. Just like that. But then, there you go. When you drive along, you can hear it. And it'll drive you fucking mad. Right, 3 out. Now, obviously they've got a wiring connection, and you have to push in a little tab to disconnect it, which is absolutely all I can. Push and tab, disconnect. Shitting. Now you need, you still hear me over there? Adapter rings. You can get these from Smart Mods or Amazon, or I'm sure there's probably links on the website. Evolution.co.uk. Check that out. It's a fucking awesome site. Now this just mirrors what you've got there, except for the fact that this would take a decent sized speaker, and well, a decent quality speaker as well. Made in Vietnam, just like all great speakers. Max 40 watts. Let me show you what I've got. Oh, it's fucking miles away. Yeah. This is what I fitted into one of my previous cars. JL Audio C1 650X. They are 6.5 inch or 165 millimeters. And that just goes in and screws in. They've all got little holes in there. So let's get screwing. The screws you get in the box are a bit excessive, but they there's plenty of room. I think they also give you these little panel clips. So I think they're expecting you to put it into directly into a panel, not into an adapter. But as I say, there's plenty of room. Just be careful not to slip and like that, and put the screwdriver through the speaker. That would not be good. Get the right screwdriver. Bigger is always better, unless it's screwdrivers. Right, smaller screwdriver. Less slippy stabby. Right, the speaker's all nicely in place, screwed in. And the difference between this speaker, the old one, and the new speaker is that it's got a nice little connector on it that matches the one in the car, and this does not. No matter what sort of run up you take, this will not connect to this, unless you have the adapter available from Smart Mods and links on Evolution, that sort of shit. Now we have to do, even you can't mess this up. We've heard stories about you. You've got a large spade connector, small spade connector. So small on small. Large on large. Simple as that. Now these particular speakers, they've got the main cone, but then also the tweeter in the middle. And inside there you've got capacitor. So you only need two connections, and the capacitor takes out the low frequencies and only sends the high frequencies to the tweeter. So you don't really need to put the tweeter in the door panel. It saves a bit of time. So just be careful. You don't want to damage this. He says. And throw some screws in. Right, I just want to show what sort of space you've got, because every now and again I'll get emails saying like, will certain speakers fit? Now if you look at a speaker once fitted, you see obviously it sits up a little higher. So I've fitted the speaker ring without a speaker in it. As you can see on the side here, you've got about 15mm on the sides, but it sort of bows out. So in the centre, you've probably got about 35mm, which is tricky. So obviously that's only maybe 6mm. And although the centre part sticks up, even if you put it at 35, that's sitting well above it. So there's plenty of room inside for anything that sticks out the speaker. What I'll do now is I'll put the window down, because depending on how far this sticks out, you don't want it interfering with the window. So hang on a second. Okay, window down. Now, you notice obviously, if that speaker was to sit out too far and hit that, as soon as you put that window down, it touched that, your window would explode. So if I put that against the, where the head of the speaker would actually sit, you can see, as long as it's under 90mm, then you're safe. The more you go towards 10mm, the more chance you've got of exploded windows, and you don't want exploded windows. Okay, the speaker's all screwed in. What might not be immediately obvious is that the mounting points aren't exactly 120 degrees. So you see that one's there, that one's there, that one's not. So you have to put the speaker in and just keep turning it around, check all three ways, and then at one point all three screws will line up, screw it in, and once it's screwed in, you can connect it up. Now I'd recommend put a little bit of either foam or tape around it just to stop it rattling. You don't want any of that. Even though this will probably keep it in place, it's well worth doing that, because nobody wants rattles, it drives you mad. Alright, fold the weather stripping back in, make sure it sits on the outside. Imagine if water was coming in, you have to make sure that it drips and then comes off this side. So if you tuck it in over the other side of the lip, then it's going to start dripping inside the car. So make sure it's all back in the right position, that's fine. Now we can replace the bolts for the window regulator. I mean, obviously you paid attention to where the bolt was before you took it out, so you know exactly where it goes back in again, obviously. But if you didn't, just do it halfway and then check it. Okay, they're secure. Check, make sure the window doesn't explode. Fine. That's fine. And the only time you ever really need to adjust it is when the door's closed. You have to make sure that it's actually touching the seal all the way along. If it's not, then bring these outwards and that will lever from there and then push that inwards. And the alternative, if it's tight, when it's like far too tight and you're having problems closing the door, then do those inwards, it'll fulcrum from there and pull it outwards. Simple. Okay, the fun part. You need to get front edge in, and then as much as the bottom edge in as you can. So front edge. Now angle this end down and push it so it goes all the way in, and lift it up. Go along again, just make sure that it's clipped in all the way. Yeah, lovely. Okay, now look at the clips and make sure they're all going over the rail that goes on the top, and slide the door panel back. It also helps to get the handle out of the way. I've just stuck a bit of elastic around it to hold it. But now that's out of the way, all the clips are where they should be. That's fine. Panel gap is fine all the way around. Just put in the bolt and little top hat pork pie washer there, and that'll stop it sliding out. And now the second fun part, getting this back in. Now the ferry side goes against the window. The best thing to do is start this back edge, put it down, and then slide it towards the back of the car until come out. It looks like that. It doesn't really matter which side this goes, but it's just to obviously all this part will be covered up by the handle, and that stops just behind the where the mirror will start. Window down to give you a bit more room. What you have to do is just, there's a ridge, just push along the ridge, push straight down. There you go, it's all secure. Okay. Place the handle back in. And the hardest part of this is getting this seal over the top. Without damaging it. There you go. In, slide it forwards. Now you can replace the bolt on the inside and then tighten up the screw on the leading edge, trailing edge even. Don't panic. Oh yeah, T27, I remember now. Yeah. And then a little rubber top hat. Make sure it works as expected. Then need to refit the mirror. Put the electrical connector through, plug it in, so if you do drop it, it doesn't hit the floor. So There's clipped in now, that's fine. Replace the 3 screws. Definitely don't drop them in the door now. Otherwise you'd have to take the door panel off again just to retrieve them. Well, lucky enough there's a little bit of foam under here, so it shouldn't do, but it can. Dress the connector so it's nice and tidy in there. Make sure that the tweeter connector is wedged in somewhere so it doesn't rattle. And then make sure the seal is on straight. And there's a tab on this side that slots up underneath there. It just needs to be pushed down into position. Just line it up. Push it down. And then, oh, remember, that's all right. That screw you almost lost. Tiny little thing. Put that in the front. That's it. That's it. Now repeat on the other side. And then listen to your tunes.
Is it for you? It is. Yeah, top work. You just bought yourself a cracking one off. Congratulations. Thank you. Cracking one off. Cracking one off. Cracking one off. Cracking
now
one.
I've had put the speakers in. I put the door panels back on. I've quickly test fitted, put the things on just to make sure everything lines up. Taking the headlights off, they're over there. Everything seems to line up quite nicely. So that's the old bonnet, that's the old wing. There's a few bits of broken plastic on this, but nothing I can't sort out with a few washers. The bonnet's a bit scratched, and I think there's a bit of a dent there. And there's delaminate from the backing there, but I'll probably glue that down with a bit of polyurethane. But what I'm going to do is just, because I've cleaned the rest of the car, it's just these 3 panels I haven't cleaned. I'm just going to give it a little clean just to see what I need to actually replace. Co-part of when I got the car, they'd use duct tape to hold everything together, and you can still see where the adhesive was. I'm using a bit of waterless wash or quick detailing spray. It seems to be coming off alright. It looks like the previous owner used to clean the car with a Brillo pad. It seems there's a lot of swirl marks and haze all over it, so in the 2 years they owned it, they probably took it to an automatic car wash or something. There's a little dent there. There's quite a big dent there. A few marks there as well. There's a bit of a bird shit mark there. Just burnt the paint a little bit. A it's actually surprisingly good. And depending on how precious you are about your car, I mean, I'm not. I will quite happily drive around with these little dents. Well, obviously I won't drive around with that hang up there. I will try and get this little watermark there, and a bird shit mark there. I will try and get those out. I do have one of those rotary polishers, but this stuff is so watery that it just sprays absolutely everywhere. I've just been finding it all up the ceiling, and I did the door. It just went absolutely everywhere. Yeah, I mean, it's better, but I think I probably need something that cuts a little bit better than that. As you can see, is somewhat come apart. It's like little hot glue spike things that go in there, but I think a liberal dose of polyurethane adhesive and a few clamps, that'll probably come out alright. Let's give that a little go. Okay, looking at it, seems to come on bonded there, and there. These ones are okay, that one's okay. So I'm tempted. I've got 3 different types of adhesive here. I've got the polyurethane, which unfortunately is white. I've got solvent cement, which is good for thermoplastics. I'm assuming it's a thermoplastic if they've moulded it like this, but it could be injection moulded plastic, it's hard to tell. And I've got Gorilla Glue, not for hair. So I'll probably do a few of each one and clamp it down and see how it goes. If any of them fail, I can always dig it all out and use the one that didn't fail, I suppose. Yeah, that's just gonna be messy, that one. Now hopefully yeah, what I'm going to do now is leave it a couple of hours and see how it goes. Since we're doing finishing little touches, thought we might as well add the new side repairs. Nice. I think we're done for the day. Move this shit out of the way. Yeah, we've done quite well. Literally all we've got to do is sort out the headlights. I've managed to get all the airbags. It's worth waiting because normally the knee airbag was about $250. From Smart, the driver's airbag and the passenger airbag were about 450 quid a go. No chance. So had a look around. There was none online. So I thought, what I'll do, I'll get the passenger one, so I can take the airbag, take the dashboard out. At least that's done then, because the passenger one and the knee airbag one, easy to do with the dashboard in. So I went to Airbag Team and bought one. Didn't really read the description properly, and it says you have to send the old one off and they'll repackage it and send it back. and I didn't really want to take the dashboard out and leave it a week because I'll just forget where everything goes if I've only ever done it once. So I thought, oh, I'll have to do it then. But then the next day I was checking out eBay and found I think he's a Renault spares guy, and he was selling both the dash airbags and the airbag and both seat belts and the airbag controller, 150 quid delivered. Yeah, bring it on. So that's turning up on Monday apparently, and then next weekend, day whatever it is now, I'll show you how to get the dashboard out. What a load of bollocks that is. And while I'm there, I'll show you how to fit the new facelifted centre console. But to be honest, the parts for the centre console are ridiculously priced. You know, you're talking just for those bits there. Yeah, that opens up with a little drawer. It's like 500 quid. And you get a little rubber mat that goes there, but you can put your phone there, but there's no wireless charging. So I'll be adding wireless charging to that. So I've already got the see, I know where everything is. I know it's a fucking shithole in here, but I know where everything is. Got myself the old wireless MagSafe charger. So that'll not only charge the phone, but it'll also keep it in position. That'll be handy. I was waiting for Apple to do data over the wireless charging as well. That'd be handy. And then yeah, so that's next weekend. So yeah, that's as far as we got. Don't bother liking the video, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you again next weekend.